there is no migrant flow happening from Canada to the United States in any significant numbers. And I'm going to tell you right now, drugs, guns, crime, most of those things flow north, not south. A lot more flows into Canada from the United States than flows out of it. So, like, I have a real problem with some of the things Donald Trump is saying. It doesn't sound to me like the pronouncements of somebody, I say, wants a better deal or whatever, fine. But it doesn't sound to me like the pronouncements of somebody who's a friend, a partner, and an ally.
It's former Prime Minister Stephen Harper commenting on a U.S. podcast just out about Donald Trump's threat to slap 25% tariffs on all Canadian imports. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith saw Trump in Mar-a-Lago this weekend and came away saying those tariffs are coming. Here to talk more about what Canada's response could look like is David MacNaughton. Mr. MacNaughton was Canada's ambassador to the U.S. during the first Trump administration. Hi, Mr. MacNaughton. Good to see you again. Thanks for making the time.
Yeah, no problem at all, Vassy.
It seems like what Premier Smith was conveying was that based on her conversations, those tariffs are coming. Certainly, Doug Ford has said the same on multiple instances. Do you think it's fair to assume at this point that will be the case?
Yeah, I think we should be prepared for it. I mean, with President Trump, you never know what he's actually going to do until the very last minute. I mean, I had a number of experiences where people said he was going to do something. 20 minutes before he changed his mind. So you never know. But I think we've got to be ready for the fact that he will impose tariffs and be ready with our response.
How difficult do you think it is, or based on your experience, I guess, the first time around, although the response was narrower and the tariffs were narrower, but how difficult will it be to arrive at a consensus, or is that even possible between the premiers and the federal government, for example, about how to respond? And I ask against the backdrop, basically, of Melanie Joly saying nothing's ruled out, including blocking off energy, and Danielle Smith saying no way, no how.
Well, I don't think it's particularly helpful at the present moment to be talking about what may be on the table or what's off the table. I mean, I think that's a conversation that should be had amongst Canadians, premiers, and the business community. And we shouldn't be talking about it publicly, but the reality is that it is going to be challenging. I mean, if there are the kind of tariffs that we're talking about, there are going to be a lot of people that are affected, a lot of businesses that are going to be affected, a lot of communities, and I think everybody will be looking to, try to see what they can do to help improve their own business's situation, their own province's situation. But I think it's fair to say that, from my experience anyway, that we are better to hang together than we are to split apart. I mean, I think Donald Trump would like nothing better than to see Canadians fighting with each other. I think he just salivated that.
Do you think there is a way, and this isn't about specifics, about what we would do or anything, but do you think, based on the knowledge that you have and the experience you have, there is a way for Canada to produce a response, if those tariffs are levied, that would ultimately, drive home the point that this affects Americans too?
Without question. I mean, there's no doubt. But I think people have got to realize that if he imposes significant tariffs on, across the board, or even on significant parts of our industry, we are going to suffer through some difficult times. How long it's going to last, whether it's 4 months or 6 months or whatever, it's going to be challenging because we are in a situation where we're going through, a political change at the federal level. And, I think Donald Trump has seen that, and he perceives it as a time of weakness. And so he's going to try and do what he can to press the advantage. I think we're going to have to realize that if we hang together, if we are a bit patient, and I realize that's not going to be easy, that we can come out of this doing very well. Because I don't think Donald Trump appreciates, what a 25% tariff on goods coming from Canada is going to cost Americans. And I don't think he appreciates the kind of impact that retaliation that we may have, what we would put on, is going to affect U.S. business. So I think we can win this battle once again, but we can only do so if we hang together. If we, as I say, if we split up and start going our own direction, it's not going to be good. Now, having said that, I understand fully why the premiers and why businesses are nervous and why they are trying to see what they can do, given the fact that, there's this sort of political vacuum, if you want to call it, in Ottawa at the present moment.
How worried are you about that political vacuum at this particular juncture in time?
Well, it's going to remain until certain, look, there's a leadership going on in the Liberal Party, then there's going to be an election. I think until that election is finished, we're still going to live with uncertainty, because I don't think any government at the present moment until after an election has got the credibility or the clout, the whatever, to do the kinds of things that we're going to need to do. I mean, are we going to increase our defense spending significantly? Are we going to do something on the security front? Are there trade-offs that we're prepared to make on the trade front? I mean, none of those things can happen, in the current environment, when effectively you've got a government that is, the Prime Minister who said he's leaving, and no new leader of the Liberal Party, and obviously an election coming up. So we're going to be in a position of uncertainty for some period of time.
Okay, I'll leave it on that note. Mr. MacNaughton, appreciate your time and your insights as always. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I wish I could have better news, but I do think if we do,
I know. Yeah, one day, hopefully, we'll have you on to celebrate some good news. We'll see about that.
Exactly.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Yeah.